Welcome to Unmasked Africa. Before we dive into today's chilling story of betrayal and hidden truths, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us unmask the secrets that stay hidden in the shadows of power. Now, let's begin. They say the best way to hide is in plain sight. But in the mansions of Banana Island, the best way to hide is to become invisible. My name is Zuri, and for 6 months, I have been a ghost in the house of Chief Omotola. Asterisk. To the world, I am the deaf and dumb girl. A charity case. A piece of furniture that breathes. Madame Beatrice tells her friends at high society brunches that she rescued me from a village in the north. She calls me her silent blessing. But every time she speaks that lie, I feel the weight of the recorder strapped to my thigh. I am not deaf. I am not dumb. I am a witness. And in this house, being a witness is a death sentence. 6 months ago, my brother Kofi disappeared. He was a driver for the chief. One night he called me, whispering that he had seen something unholy in the chief's private warehouse. He never came home. The police told me to forget him. The chief's lawyers offered me hush money. I didn't take the money. I took a different path. I spent 3 months learning the art of the deep silence. I studied how to not flinch when a door slams. How to not move my eyes when someone screams in my ear. I transformed myself into the one thing a criminal feels safe around, someone who can never tell their secrets. A lavish dining room. Chief Omotola, 50s, powerful, arrogant, and Madame Beatrice, 40s, dripping in gold, are eating. Zuri is standing in the corner, perfectly still. Beatrice asterisk in a sharp, condescending tone, speaking as if Zuri isn't there. Look at her, Omotola. Standing there like a statue. It's a relief, really. The last maid was always eavesdropping, trying to pick up scraps of English to impress her boyfriend. This one. You could commit a murder right in front of her and she'd just keep polishing the silver. Chief Omotola asterisk, grunting, not looking up from his steak. She's useful. Just make sure she stays out of the study. I have the minister coming tonight. We are finalizing the clearance for the new port project. There are millions at stake, Beatrice. I don't need a witness, even a broken one. The chief was testing me. He does it every day. A loud noise, a sudden movement, a shouted command. He wants to see if the village girl is wearing a mask. He doesn't realize that my mask is made of reinforced steel. In his mind, I am a subhuman. In my mind, he is a file folder waiting to be filled with evidence. I am not just here for my brother. I am here because the Omotola family represents the rod that eats at the heart of our nation. They wear the mask of philanthropy. They build schools with one hand while they traffic illegal minerals with the other. They think they are the masters of the unmasked world. But silence is a funny thing. When people think you can't hear, they stop whispering. They start shouting their crimes. Tonight, the minister is coming. Tonight, the deaf maid is going to hear something that will burn this empire to the ground. She practices her vacant look one last time, smoothing her face into a blank slate. The stage is set. The villains are comfortable. They think their secrets are safe because they think I am less than a person. They are about to learn that the most dangerous person in the room is the one you've trained yourself to ignore. The air in the mansion changed the moment Minister Okon walked in. It wasn't the smell of expensive cologne or the rustle of a silk border. It was the smell of fear disguised as power. In my 6 months here, I've learned that the louder a man laughs, the more blood he has on his hands. Beatrice asterisk to the minister, laughing. Oh, don't worry about her, minister. That's Zuri. She's as deaf as a stone. I use her for the study service because I don't have to worry about her selling our conversations to the tabloids. She wouldn't know a bribe from a blessing if it hit her in the face. Minister Okon asterisk, looking Zuri up and down, his eyes cold. Are you sure? These village types can be cunning. They play dumb to survive. Beatrice asterisk, smacking. Trust me. I've dropped crystal vases behind her just to watch her reaction. Nothing. She's a void. Zuri. Go get the blue label and the cigars. Move. I felt the minister's eyes on my back. He was right, we do play dumb to survive. But I wasn't playing to survive anymore. I was playing to destroy. As I prepared the tray, my heart was a hammer against my ribs. Tonight was the night. The port project they mentioned earlier wasn't just about ships and containers. It was about the ghost ship, the vessel that my brother Kofi saw being loaded in the middle of the night. The vessel that never appeared on any official manifest. Zuri enters the study. The room is thick with cigar smoke. The three of them are huddled around a mahogany desk covered in maps and ledgers. Chief Omotola lowering his voice, but not enough. The shipment is scheduled for Thursday, 2 a.m. The customs officers have already been greased. But we have a problem, Okon. The boy's sister, that driver, Kofi, she's been asking questions around the docks. Minister Okon sipping his whiskey. I thought you handled the family. You told me they were compensated. Chief Omotola, growling. I gave them enough to buy a village. But the girl is stubborn. She's a journalist or something. My boys followed her to a cheap apartment in Ikeja, but then she vanished. She's gone underground. Zuri is placing the whiskey glasses on the table. Her hand passes inches away from the chief's face. She hears her own name, her own life, being discussed like a nuisance. Beatrice asterisk, cackling. Let her hide. She's probably halfway to London by now, terrified of her own shadow. We have more important things to worry about. The containers. If the Interpol agents get a whiff of the lithium we are smuggling out under the charity label, we are all finished. Lithium. The white gold of the modern world. They were stripping our land of its resources, hiding it in crates labeled medical supplies for refugees, and selling it to foreign buyers for 10 times its value. And my brother? My brother hadn't just seen something. He had tried to stop it. The chief leans back, looking directly at Zuri as she reaches for an empty tray. He suddenly reaches out and grabs her wrist hard. Zuri freezes. She doesn't gasp. She doesn't pull away. She keeps her eyes blank, looking past him. Chief Omotola asterisk to the minister. You see this? I could break her arm right now, and she wouldn't even know why. That's the kind of loyalty I demand from everyone in my circle. Total, mindless obedience. He releases her with a shove. Zuri stumbles back slightly, recovers her balance, and bows again. She exits the room. My wrist burned where his fingers had dug in. But the fire in my soul was hotter. I had it. I had the time, Thursday, 2 a.m. I had the location, Pier 14. And most importantly, I had the confirmation that they knew exactly who I was, even if they didn't realize I was standing in their shadows. I retreated to the kitchen, my breath coming in short, jagged gasps. I pulled out my phone from its hiding spot beneath the sink. I needed to transmit the recording to my editor before they found me. But as the upload bar reached 40%, the kitchen door creaked open. MRS, Danjuma in a whisper. Zuri. What are you doing with the phone? You told madam you didn't own one. Narrator asked. If Mrs. Danjuma screamed, if she called for the chief, it was over. Not just the mission, but my life. I looked at her, and for the first time in 6 months, I let the village girl die. I let my eyes show the steel underneath. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. I simply held up the phone and played back the last 30 seconds of the chief's conversation, the part where he joked about the accidents that happened to workers who complained. Mrs. Danjuma's face went pale. Her own son had died in one of the chief's factories 3 years ago. They told her it was a machine malfunction. They laughed. They laughed about the accident. I nodded. I reached out and took her hand. I couldn't tell her I could hear, not yet. But I looked into her eyes with a clarity that said, I am the one who will make them pay. She looked at the door, then back at me. She didn't scream. Instead, she reached into her pocket and handed me a key. Mrs. Danjuma. The back gate. The sensors are off between 3 and 4 a.m. when the guards change. If you're going to do it, girl, make sure you finish them. Don't leave a single one of them standing. Zuri tucks the phone away. The upload hits 100%. File sent. The deaf maid had found an ally in the blind servant. The house of cards was starting to wobble. But the chief was not a man who went down quietly. As I headed back into the main hall to finish my shift, I saw something that chilled my blood. Beatrice was standing by the stairs, holding my brother's old ID card, the one he always kept in his wallet. She was staring at it, then staring at me. Softly, to herself. The eyes. Why didn't I notice the eyes before? The unmasking had begun. But the question was, who would be unmasked first? Stay tuned for Phase 3, where the predator and the prey finally face off. Thursday, 2 a.m. is coming, and not everyone is walking away from Pier 14. What would you do if you were caught in the lion's den? Let us know in the comments. This is Unmasked Africa. The air at Pier 14 tasted like salt and diesel. My heart was a drum, beating out the rhythm of every lie I had swallowed for 6 months. In the distance, I saw him, Chief Omotola. He wasn't wearing his designer suit tonight. He was in a tactical jacket, pacing the docks as his charity containers were loaded onto a blacked-out vessel. Chief Omotola checks his watch. Minister Okon is there too, looking nervous. Armed guards circle the perimeter. Chief Omotola shouting over the rain. Faster. The manifest says medical supplies. If the Coast Guard drones pick up the lithium signature before we hit international waters, your head is on the block, Okon. I adjusted my camera lens. I wasn't just recording for a story anymore. I was recording for a funeral, the funeral of their reputation. But as I leaned forward to get a shot of the minister signing the illegal manifest, a cold barrel of a gun pressed against the back of my neck. Behind, her voice dripping with poison. I knew those eyes were too bright for a village girl. You have your brother's stubbornness, say. It's a shame. It didn't save him, and it won't save you. She thought she had won. She thought she had caught a mouse. She didn't realize she had walked into a trap that had been set since the moment I first couldn't hear her insult. Beatrice, dragging Zuri toward the chief. Omotola. Look at our silent blessing. She's been a little busy with her phone tonight. Chief Omotola, turning, his face turning into a mask of pure rage. You. I should have fed you to the sharks the day you arrived. Give me the phone, girl. Now. Zuri doesn't move. She looks the chief in the eye. A slow, terrifying smile spreads across her face, the first time the audience has seen her unmasked. Zuri, voice loud, clear, and commanding. It's too late, chief. The upload didn't go to my phone. It went to a live server. Right now, 10,000 people are watching this charity shipment on a private link. And 5 of them are the Interpol agents currently entering the harbor gates. Red and blue lights suddenly erupt from the entrance of the pier. The sound of sirens cuts through the rain. The look on his face was worth every slap, every insult, and every hour of forced silence. The man who thought he was a god was suddenly just a criminal in the rain. The courtroom was packed. The story of the deaf maid had gone viral across the continent. People were calling me a hero, a spy, a ghost. But as I sat in the witness stand, looking at the 2 people who had destroyed my family, I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like a mirror. I was simply reflecting the ugliness they had tried to hide for decades. Hearing their voices again made my skin crawl. In the dock, Beatrice was weeping, not out of regret, but out of shame. She couldn't handle the fact that the charity case she had mocked in front of her friends was the very person who had dismantled her life. Prosecutor. Miss Zuri, the defense claims that you obtained this evidence illegally. They claim you tricked them by pretending to be someone you want. What do you have to say to that? Zuri. I didn't trick them. I simply gave them a stage. I stood there, silent, and they chose to show the world exactly who they were. They thought my silence was a sign of my weakness, but it was actually a reflection of their arrogance. They believed that because I couldn't hear, I didn't exist. But I existed. I heard every bribe. I heard every threat. And I heard what they did to my brother, Kofi. Narrator. The evidence was undeniable. The medical supplies were found to be millions of dollars worth of raw lithium. The accidents at the factory were proven to be gross negligence. And in a shallow grave near Pier 14, the authorities found what was left of Kofi. He hadn't died in a car crash. He had been executed because he refused to be silent. Narrator. As they led the chief and Beatrice away in chains, Beatrice stopped. She looked at me, her eyes bloodshot. She whispered one final question. Why? We gave you a home. We gave you food. Why destroy us for a dead boy? I looked at her, and for the last time, I used the language she thought I didn't know, the high society dialect she used to hide her crimes. Zuri, in the secret dialect. Because a house built on blood can never be a home. And the dead boy was worth more than every emerald around your neck. Odi. The Omotola empire is gone. The mansion has been seized. The report project is under government investigation. But the real victory isn't in the seized assets. It's in the message sent to every person who thinks they can hide behind a mask of power. In Africa, we have a saying, The forest may be thick, but the sun always finds a way through the leaves. Zuri is no longer the shadow. She is no longer the maid. She is a reminder that silence is not a void, it is a weapon. So, I have to ask you, the Unmasked Africa family, was Zuri right to play the deaf card for so long, or did she lose a piece of her own soul by living a lie to catch a liar? If you found a secret that could destroy your enemies, would you have the patience to stay silent until the perfect moment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories of justice, betrayal, and the ultimate unmasking. This has been Unmasked Africa. Remember, the truth doesn't need a voice to be heard. It only needs a witness.